Well, hello.
I'm here. Updated teleportation device.
I kind of feel like Ed Mars is almost like the Simpsons entrance. You just never know what to expect.
Jen's the same way. I never know where she's going to be, what kind of coffee she's going to be having,
Or if she's going to be having coffee.
That's
No
true. Oh, she's got a
coffee.
coffee break.
The very hard coffee break. So, but we'll see. Maybe in GTC I might be walking around with coffee. Maybe.
Okay.
And if you do spot me with coffee, I don't mind taking pictures. Totally. I feel like I've become so famous with coffee now that I feel like everybody wants a picture with that.
No, just a second. I just kind of show this comment. I'm so sorry, but look at that. We love you too.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him.
Oh, man.
He's not wrong.
No, well, thanks.
Papa Chuck is never wrong. Yeah, but GTC, speaking of GTC, it is literally like the countdown is literally weeks away now. And I want to make sure everybody knows two big things regarding coming. Number one is there's an alumni discount that a lot of people may not be aware of, and it's fantastic. If you've ever attended GTC, even in the past few years when it's all been virtual, all you have to do is register for this GTC with the same email address used previously, and you will get a 40% discount on your on-site pass. That's pretty significant. And if you didn't attend GTC, say you're just kind of being introduced to OpenUSD and Omniverse recently, so this is your first GTC, you can use a community discount for coming, and that I believe gives you 25%. So there you go.
I just shared a link that gives you 25% off.
That is so that's awesome.
And if you attend virtually, you get 100% off.
That's true. Virtually, it's absolutely free. But I have to tell you, and obviously we've had awesome fun hosting it virtually and connecting with everybody all over the world. But there's a huge benefit to actually coming to GTC. And one of the main things is not only do you get to engage with other developers from the NVIDIA team, including the lovely people on this live stream now, but also with the leads of all the different areas of NVIDIA will be there on site, and you can actually schedule one-to-one meetings with different teams. There's a great meeting app that we're leveraging. I think our GTC app just went live actually, and then there's going to be a complimentary meeting app that's going to be released in the coming days so that you can book meetings easily and coordinate schedules. And then also you can meet with other community members and that is and partners, people, other companies leveraging OpenUSD and NVIDIA technology that it will be at GTC. It's really, you can't really put a price on the opportunity to have those kinds of meetings. So I think it's going to be fantastic. If you're coming, we would love to meet with you. I know Eric and Jen and myself and other people on the team would really love to sit down and chat about your project and see how we can help. So let us know. Again, GTC.
Can they schedule us for they can schedule us for a one-on-one meeting, right?
They can, yes. So this meeting app, I think it's going to be launched. I think in either tomorrow or early next week. I think it's called Brain Date, but it's a really easy flow for scheduling. You'll be able to see who's open for meetings, and then you'll be able to, in a couple clicks, schedule a meeting with that person.
And whatever you need. I mean, we'll talk about your marketing strategy. We'll talk about.
It's a good point.
We'll talk about your business model. We'll sit there and code with you.
We'll drink coffee.
Have coffee, absolutely. And you know who's going to be there? Oh, okay. So about coffee,
hot chocolate.
There's going to be a couple of networking events as part of OpenUSD a day. We covered this on yesterday's live stream, actually. I'll post a link in a second, and I'm just finishing timestamps now, so you can scroll through it quickly. But one of the sections we had Stephanie on, and she went through OpenUSD Day content. So this is a full day on Tuesday of the week of GTC, March 19th, all around OpenUSD days. And we have a breakfast and coffee in the morning. So Jen will be first in line for that coffee. Maybe she'll be serving people. I don't know. And then we have a lunch with experts happening that day as well. And then a happy hour towards the end of the day, which includes a raffle giveaway. And we have some very, very special stuff in store for each of those things. So really great opportunities to connect with other people in the community, developers, and folks in the NVIDIA team and leads. So really, OpenUSD Day is going to be a lot of fun. So I hope as many people out there can make it as possible. We'll do everything we can to support the people who are connecting virtually. But obviously, there's no replacement for actually being there. but we'll do the best we can to share news as it happens.
Well, and I just wanted to mention that we have a hands-on lab. So if you've been following this live stream in this this autonomous F1Tenth project, where we're making an F1Tenth car drive itself in Isaac Sim, we've got a hands-on lab. Well, you'll get to train your own model and see this in action. Dig into the code, do it yourself. And at the end of this lab, we're going to have a race. And whoever can whoever's model and car posts the fastest lap time around the track is going to win a Jetson or a Nano.
That is awesome.
So
Ashley teased that
you
yesterday.
can't get that virtually, right? So
no, Ashley teased that there was something coming, a nice prize yesterday in live stream. Actually, and Ashley also went through all the live trainings that are happening that you guys are actually hosting. So again, we'll post a link for yesterday's live stream with timestamps during this live stream a little bit later, so people can kind of look through all those sessions. Jen, you'll actually be a big part of GTC, and I know you've been hard at work on your content.
Yeah, I have 4 DLI labs. Well, yeah, because I'm TAing for yours.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then I'm TAing, and I'm running 2 and TAing 1 again. So I had TA for 2, instructing for 2, and then I'm in 2 connecting with the expert ones, which are kind of a little bit back to back now. So I got like 6 things going on. So I'm a little bit everywhere right now, and it's kind of exciting. So I'm really hoping to meet a lot of you guys. I really want to, make sure that you guys are getting the best experience possible. And if you want to bring coffee, I will drink it.
I brought you coffee at Seagraft. Did you drink that one?
I did. It was fantastic. Although
right.
I am still disappointed that you did not give me Vermont coffee. You gave me a different thing of coffee.
Listen, I wanted to save that for GTC. Seagraft, I gave you New York coffee. GTC will be Vermont coffee.
Okay, so you're going to give me actual Vermont coffee this time?
Yes. 802 coffee. Very good.
Oh gosh.
All right, so everyone should definitely check out the nvidia.com/GTC. Find all the great content. You definitely want to add the keynote to your calendar. You won't miss it. We are still looking for great content from the community. If you've got a video you'd like us to consider including in that sizzle reel that will be played right before Jensen enters the stage, we have a great forum. I'll post it in the comments in a second. You can just easily submit and give permission to include your great work there. And we would love to show it off to the whole world. And there will be a lot of eyes on this GTC. This is the premier AI conference for the world. And there's going to be just a lot of amazing announcements, a lot of great information. And you could be a part of that if you want to submit your content for the sizzle reel. So we'll post that link in a second. We also have a great forum post if you want to see curated list of sessions per topic. For example, we have sessions specifically around SDG. We have sessions specifically around creators. And Kaylin was on a live stream yesterday. Again, we went through topics specifically around, or sessions around robotics, which obviously this live stream is very much connected to, and Isaac. So it's going to be just an amazing week. And I really, really can't wait to meet anyone in the community who's going to be coming.
See, I've got a request for a link directly to the lab, and so I'm getting that for you right now. Great question.
Awesome. And I'll post a link to yesterday's stream so people can watch that. And the timestamps will be updated in just a few minutes. I was just working on that before I jumped in here. But for those who simply can't wait, obviously don't watch it now, but after this live stream, if you want to see a nice overview of the events happening at GTC as it relates to OpenUSD, check out this live stream.
Cool. So there we go. Let's see here. Yep. A lot going on with GTC. And then we have some bittersweet news. This is actually our last EDIO.
Saying so.
I know. But don't worry. We're still going to stream every Thursday. We're just going to start calling it something else because we're really not doing very much engineering design on here. You may have noticed. We've done a little bit of CAD. We've done a little bit of the design work, but mostly working with robotics and with artificial intelligence. And so we're just going to change the name to be a little more clear about what we're doing here. And we don't have a name yet. And so if you would like to help us come up with the future name for this live stream, please join us. Let's hop into, we've got the Jet Racer channel, which has been most of the conversation about this live stream. And so do we have a link to, let's see, I need a link to that channel.
Yeah.
Let me
I
grab
also
that.
see a flood of people asking about project files, and yes, there will
Oh,
be
yeah.
project files. There definitely will be.
Yeah.
Just hold on to your seat a little bit longer, and then you'll be able to see all of them.
Yeah. I'm going through the legal process to come up with kind of an open source license and making sure we're not don't have any malware stuck in our not that we do, but we have a legal process to make sure that the code we release has an appropriate license, doesn't have anything we don't have legal permissions to share, and that sort of thing. And so we'll release the F1Tenth template, the Ackerman template, CAD template through Onshape, and we'll be releasing the source code and the USD assets. Making computer magic with StrainFlow. There we go. The StrainFlow show. That's got to kind of even rhyme to it. But I think we're really looking for a title that has to do it. Like, it's more about what we're talking about than who is talking about it. We try to be not anonymous, but it's more about what we do than who's doing it at NVIDIA. That's kind of the way we try to roll,
We talked about this earlier on our private chat, but I'm thinking like it should just revolve around robotics. It seems like that just there's so much demand and so many users of the computer who are actually leveraging Isaac Sim and Isaac Ross and for robotics work. And you seem to obviously have a great knack for it as well. I think it's I think it's just I don't know. It seems like a good fit to me.
Yeah, and so one idea I had was just to call it like the Robotics Factory. It's kind of I think that's kind of a fun name, or the Robot Factory, I mean. But another idea, but that said, I really want to leave some space in our live stream to talk about, I think most of the time we will be talking about robots, because that's where the most demand is, that's where the most interest is. And however, I do want to leave some space to talk about artificial intelligence in general, about generative AI, to talk about what else? I work with quite a few researchers with this really fascinating stuff, and I would love to have some of them on. Although most of them work on robots. So I think.
What do you think of this idea from Zia?
Yeah,
sim to twin
covers many possibilities. Yeah, I like that. Twin sim to real. I like it. Speaking of sim to real, I need that link to the Discord channel. Let me grab that, and then let's get working here. So the Jet Racer channel, here it is. Invite people. Let's make it last forever. So never expire, no limit, generate a new link. I guess it just brings you to our Discord, but here's the link to our Discord. Please join us. Look for the Jet Racer channel. You can join us there, and we can talk about what's named the live stream. So can't wait to see you there. And then with that, let's go ahead and start talking about sim to real a little bit. And starting with, what is sim to real? And let's see here. The idea here, and you see it a lot, especially I see it a lot popping up in the news and with autonomous vehicles. And the idea here is, you have an autonomous car, right? These robot taxis. And if you have every robot taxi, how do you get those things to work, right? How do you train those things? And I don't know how they even got to where they are now, to be honest, but maybe it started with having someone drive the car with all the sensors on it, and the car just paying attention to what the driver was doing in all these different scenarios. And we would call that imitation learning, right? Or which is a type of supervised learning. And then, so you have this car that's trained, and you get 100 drivers, and you get them driving these cars, and after a while, and what you do is you display on the car somewhere. You display, okay, this is what I'm doing, and this is the car what the car thinks we should be doing. And when that starts to look pretty good, like the car can predict the right things to do and is safe, then you just start to let the cars drive themselves, right? But you think about, if you have had 100, 1,000, I don't know how many drivers, how much data can you collect, and how many scenarios can you collect? And then maybe there's some scenario you didn't expect, like a kid jumping out into the road, and you've got to be ready for that, because you've got to behave properly in these, especially when there are robot human interactions. You've got to do the right thing. And so especially where the vast majority of your data is just your typical things are going smoothly, and only rarely do you get these edge cases, right? And there are a lot of edge cases that only ever happen one time ever. And so how do you get those edge cases? And the answer to this is you've got to not only have the ground truth real world data, but you've got to get some simulations going, right? You've got to start to model these robots and drive them in simulation, so that it can do a lot of things, right? Instead of 1,000 cars driving around, you can have 1 million, 1 billion, as many as you can buy GPUs for, right? Another one is you can model as many edge cases as you want. Or if you see an edge case, you can start to replicate it and rerun it and go through it again and do that safely. And so there are all these advantages to being able to model in simulation. But the question is, how do you do it? How do you simulate realistically enough so that when you get to the real world, it actually works?
Yeah.
Right? So the robot, whatever you've done in the sim world, works in the real world, right? That's the key there. And when I talk to a lot of people, they're not believers, just to put it kind of frankly, right? It's a little bit hard to believe, and I will grant you, it is a little bit hard to believe that you could train a robot on a computer and then just deploy that model to the real world, and it'll behave the same, right? So that's what we're going to be working on next. That's what we'll be working on a little bit today. Exciting. And let me share my screen real quick and show you what I'm working on. I've got here, it's fairly low quality, no, I just did this.
You did it. You went to the gym.
Yeah, I went to the gym, and this is like a capture I did with my phone.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see you at the gym though, because I went to the gym this morning, so I didn't really see you.
Yeah. So here's this basketball gym. That's one capture. To be honest, it's really cool that you can do this with your phone, but it takes some patience and there's some practice to it. And yeah, right.
So what'd you do?
Really early.
Which app did you use to capture? What was the tech?
I used Polycam 3D. And one thing I like about Polycam 3D is, man, I forget what the fee is, but it's pretty modest annual fee. You can export directly to USDZ.
Yeah, that's a time saver.
Yeah. But not to worry, it's got a pretty friendly free tier that I believe exports its FBX or OBJ, or a pretty typical format. And if you export to FBX or OBJ, you can just import it. No problem. Just convert it to USD. It's easy. Let's see here. So that's one that I captured. You can see it has a decent floor, but terrible walls, right? So let's look at, I got another one though. Let's open the other one.
I just checked on the pricing. It is a really good deal. $100 for a whole year. So it's actually pretty affordable. It pays for itself pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, if you need to, and then absolutely. And I do got to say, and I've got to. These guys have been really great to work with. So I just got to shout out to Preview 3D. They have this program. You give them a call, and they'll have one of their partners come out with industrial grade scanners, and they'll scan your environment, and it looks amazing. I mean, I just got to pull up this asset actually, just while we're talking about this. Let's see here if I can find it. It's been a while since I've opened it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, check this out, right? Would you like to save this? No, we'll just come back to it later. They did this for us, and this is an asset that I can share publicly. They've been very generous. They scanned this for us. They process it for us. And the Life Motorsports has agreed that we can share this scan of their facility. And it takes a minute to open because it's just a little bit bigger.
I'll just paste the link in the chat. That's the right one, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And with Preview 3D, so they'll have this scan for you, and there's just like a flat fee to have that work done, which is, I mean, for what the work they're doing isn't bad. I can't give prices because that would be, they have pretty transparent pricing. It goes per square foot, and I can't remember the pricing, but it's quite reasonable. And then they'll actually host it for you on their servers. And once on there, you can edit it. They have this really cool software where you can edit the mesh, you can add CAD models, you can like cut things out. It'll automatically heal the floor behind it.
That's awesome.
And and you can walk around. So you can put in an avatar and walk around the scene. And it'll like recognize stairs and let you walk up and down stairs. And it's just, it's really cool. Oh, well, we'll see how this goes here. I'm trying to open a huge scan, so we'll just give that a minute. But what this is it's a motorsports facility. Life Motorsports does custom cars. So if it doesn't open this first try, or if I have trouble, we'll just show it to you next time. It's a fairly large scene. So, but it's got all these really cool race cars in it and stuff.
I think the live stream people are like, oh, you wanted to show this off today? Guess what? You can't.
Right. Oh, I think I'm just going to call it here. I don't want to wait the whole live stream for this to load. So I'm just going to kill Isaac. Sorry, Isaac.
If you want, I could try loading it in my background.
Yeah, that'd be great. And there are the individual scans. Oops. You could also just try opening one of the E57 files, or you can try a few things, but yeah. So and the reason I mentioned this, in part because I love Preview 3D, but also because if you're like looking at my phone scans, you're like, well, that doesn't look that great. Well, yeah, I did it with my phone. Okay. So cut me some slack, Jack. All right, bringing it back. And let's look at some of these scans I did with my phone. I did a few and I thought, we can probably put these together into one scene and put it together okay. I had another idea. Maybe instead of doing a full LiDAR scan, I wonder if I could just do an HDRI instead.
That'd be much quicker.
Yeah. All right.
How important is the lighting? Did you have problems with the lighting in the gym and everything?
Yeah, that was kind of a challenge actually, because it had overhead lights, and so and when you have the overhead lights, they're always reflecting. And so then when I'm walking around, no matter what, it's like the lights move with you.
Right.
And so then when I process those scans, it's like a million lights, or the ground was just white. It was quite problematic. LiDAR gives you 3D though, right? Yes. And so if you're going to train a robot that uses LiDAR, you need to have a 3D asset. If you're just doing a pure computer vision model, we might be able to do that with an HDRI. And HDRIs, I'd say, it's easier to get a really good looking HDRI than to get a really great looking LiDAR scan. So quick load. All right, now we're looking good. Let's go back and I put them right here. I forget which is which. What are we looking at? We're looking at the ceiling from outside.
I was going to say, I couldn't tell what that was.
Yeah, so this one I have pretty decent walls in the surroundings. This is at my local church. If you're like, why does this place have a stage?
Oh, that's cool. Cool room.
And then this one, I was able to get a pretty good floor. I really worked hard on the floor on this one. And what I did is I opened as many doors as I could, opened up, just got as much natural light as I could. And then, this is probably my cleverest moment, is I started over here, like right here, and I just turned on the lights behind me so they wouldn't show up in reflections on the floor. And then I did a scan, did my scan on this half of the room. And I walked backwards to the light switches over here. And then I faced the wall. And then I turned off the lights that were behind me and turned on the lights that were on the other side and flipped around and did this half of the room. That's how I did that.
Did you get any strange looks from people who were walking by? Like, what's this guy doing?
I'm the only one in there. And you asked about lighting. If you're indoors, it's not too bad because the lighting is kind of pretty consistent. If you're outdoors, if you have windows, then lighting becomes a lot more difficult. Or if you have, lighting that changes, yeah, you really got to worry about the lighting. But let's get these two merged into one. And I am having a problem here where what I'd like to do is just bring them both into a scene together and just kind of adjust them until you see the floor from the one and the walls from the other. But I was running into this problem. If I drag these in, the payload doesn't have a default prim, which means, which is a bit of a pain. And let me show you what they mean by that, okay? I'm going to open up this one. If you look, the parent prim here is just object and is not set to the default prim. If I open up F1Tenth, one of my assets, and this is really a cool, like a handy tip to know. So here we have the car, and you notice I've made full car the default prim. But then there's this world prim up here, and I put my ground plane into it. And this is really nice because I have an asset I can work on, and I can put a ground plane in or other things in there so that when I'm rigging the asset, I can use a ground plane. But then if I drag and drop F1Tenth into a scene, it only inserts the stuff under default prim into the scene. It leaves anything underworld out of the scene. So it's a great way to rig up your assets, edit your assets, work on them, but then control what actually gets inserted into scenes when other people use your asset. But let's fix this USDZ. Okay, so next step, easy enough. Let's just set a default prim. If I right click on this, you can say set as default prim, and it does it. That's great. And it won't let me. If I go to file save, it's going to give me an error. Failed to save layers. Please check console for error. And it turns out you cannot save USDZ files. They're read-only. So we've got to problem solve that. I wonder if I hit a save as.
Yeah, you could just save as and then save it as a USD. USDZ files are a way for people to share, essentially all of their textures with one file. So like if they have other texture files and created a bunch of materials that go with it, they're going to end up using a USD-Z, which is basically just a USD file that's zipped, right? So that's why it's only read-only. So if you can still save out a USD-Z as a USD, but just keep in mind that it might not transfer. Like if you're trying to send your information to somebody else, it might not send that texture, and they're like, well, where's the texture? It's missing the texture. Well, it's because it's just a USD-Z, and it just has it's just a USD file, and it just points to the texture file.
In fact, when I did that save as, I lost my texture. So
yeah,
let's problem solve this real quick.
So all you would need to do is probably just reassign the material.
Before we dig too deep, I just want to make believers out of everyone. Let me just open up Racing Grid here. I just want to show you what we have in mind here, right? Here, I've got this scene here with this default, Isaac Racing Grid. And I've got a default cone. But if I just replace this environment with my LiDAR scan, and if I take a scan of my real cone, or it'll just grab an asset and make it look more like my actual cones, it's just really not far-fetched at all. Or it's just very practical, even, that if we train a robot in that scanned environment, it's going to work in the real environment, right? I might need a little bit better scan. Lighting can cause trouble for some people, but like I said, if we're indoors, it's not too bad. If we can control an environment where we're using the robot. And so anyway, I just wanted to paint that picture. But here let's figure this out. We need to save this with texture, right? Save flattened as, maybe. Sorry, what would you do here, Jen? I lost you. You're muted, I believe.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm talking to myself. Are we in the USD file or USD-Z file?
USD-Z file. So it has the textures.
Okay, so we can actually just go to the...
I can show you one trick. And I think we want to this isn't our first choice, but I just want to show you all, if we rename this file to a .zip, in a pinch, that's all a USD-Z is. You've got a USDA file, and then also got this texture here. So don't be too intimidated by USD-Zs, right? But I think we're looking for a little bit easier way than that.
You could probably open up that USDA file now.
Sure. So if I extract all here, okay, and then if I take this folder and put this here, so this is one way to make USD-Zs editable. So now I can open up this USDA. It looks this is the other one, but yeah, here we are. It even points to this texture. So if you go to material 0 and look at its properties, you'll see it's pointing. It's probably like I don't know where the link is to that texture. It seems like it should be in this material, right? Oh, here you go.
You could probably, so if you click back on material.
Aha, diffuse color texture. It's pointing at that texture file. Great. But let's try, I wonder. Okay, let's open up this one. I saw there's a save collected as, or save flattened as. Let's try that real quick. That might embed the texture into the asset. Yes, that worked. So now we have a USD file with the texture embedded. So we can delete this folder. So we could also, you can also collect. So flattening puts everything in the USD file. Collecting kind of puts them in a folder together. Probably either one of those would have worked.
Well, let's take a look at the material
Okay, yeah, let's do
in
that.
this scene. So if you expand open.
Yeah, what's that pointing at? Good question. Oh, cool. Look at that. It's embedded the asset. Oh, wait. It's looking back at the USDZ file inside of it.
Yes.
Ooh, good catch.
So it does flatten it. You are correct.
That's not good.
There's still a pointer to it. So
Yes.
again, you have to be really careful about this stuff.
Okay, so let's try collecting it. File collect as. What? It won't let me collect it. So I think we're going to have to go back to unzipping it, unzipping it, and then saving it, right? So let's delete these two. We can delete this one because it's not. It's a good catch. That would have gotten me later, you know. Actually, we don't need to. These are kind of already. This one's fine as it is, right? We can just call it gym walls. Or is this floor? I think. Let's double check that. Yeah, this is the floor. And then I'm going to go ahead and with this one. Yeah, the reason I knew this would work is because back in the day, I did some automation with XLSX files, with Microsoft Excel files. And at the time, there were really not great APIs to work with Excel files until I learned that they were it's just a zipped XML files. So an XLSX file is just a zip archive full of a bunch of XML files. Anyway, which is nice if you're doing some Excel automation on like a web server. It's oh gosh, I'm thinking about Excel. It's nice because you don't need to install Microsoft Excel to do automation if you work directly with the zip file and with the XML directly, and it's really fast. Okay, I don't know which one I did first and second. February 16th at 12:01. Okay, this is the one we haven't done yet. Oops. This one. Let's rename it to Jim Walls. Cool. And now here we got Gym Floor. All we got to do is set this as default prim and save it. And we'll be all set now. Let's give this a better name though. Rename. Cool. Let's rename this one too to Gym Walls. Where are you? Right there. Don't save it. And same thing here. We're just going to set a default prim and then save. Great. So now what we can do, let's just, oh, wrong one. There we go. Now what we can do is just, let's just start with the floor. Pop it in there. Oh dear. Things are never smooth, are they?
Well, it's good it's happening now. We can all learn from it. But
Yeah. By the way, I love this layout where I've got the layer pane, the stage pane, the property panes all right here. So I can, this makes it so much easier. Okay, let's just add a transform real quick. And then 90. Nope. We're just going to fiddle around.
there you go.
Yeah. Nope. I'm just going to take the grid room and hide it. And then we're just going to, and I'm using the grid room still for its collision mesh.
Well, will it still fall through the floor if you hide it?
No. Shouldn't. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Did you save?
I saved the environments. I did not save that last one where I brought it in. But that'll just take a second.
That's why it's a live stream.
Right? All righty. Come on. Oh, it's already back. Not sure what happened there.
You know, a trick someone told me once is to have 2 instances running. So if one
So if one dies.
one goes bad, you can just swap. But you have to have a pretty nice rig for that.
Yeah. And not load too big of scenes.
Yeah.
Come on. Here we go. It's waking up still. There we go. I love this quick load, quick save, quick load, because you can get your windows the way you like and then quick save, and then you're good to go. All right, let's just run this scene, make sure it still simulates. And it's crashing.
Wonder why.
I don't know. I've been having no problem at all.
It's not throwing
Like
out right.
all week. Working great. It's, yeah. Shoot. Well, we'll stop doing that. And I just simulated the car by itself. So we'll just do it in that scene because that one's working. Or we'll make a new scene.
I think anyone interested, I think we have a live stream next week. The Isaac team is continuing their office hours. I think next week is Isaac Sim. They alternate with Isaac Ross team and Isaac Sim team. But next week is Isaac Sim. And then really exciting, actually. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this out loud because we haven't started announcing it yet. But I'm helping this team, so I might as well announce it. The Jetson team, the Jetson Gen AI team, is going to kick off in office hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. That's going to be on the NVIDIA developer channel. So we'll not be on the NVIDIA Omniverse channel, but we will definitely share that on the Discord server and the forum. So people interested in Gen AI and Jetson can, that should be really fun.
Jetson Gen. So Jetson Gen. I mean, the Jetson is this piece of hardware, but how is that combined with Gen AI?
Well, let me see. Let me see if I can dig up the abstract. See what they're planning to show off.
Oh, you know what it might be? I've got these ROS action graphs in there that only work on Linux. I bet that's what's breaking it.
Good theory. Can you verify? How can you verify that?
Well, let's just run this one. Simulates fine. Let's do this one. This one's only difference between that one and this one is the addition of the action graphs. And we're crashing. That's it. Well, that makes sense. Trying to run Linux-only features on Windows would cause problems, I would think. I'm going to have to report this to the Isaac Sim team because this seems like a pretty straightforward, shouldn't crash. So, but they probably don't have too many people trying to run Linux scenes on Windows.
All right, there's a quick little blurb about this Jetson Gen AI Labs live stream.
All things Jetson and generative AI. Cool.
Yeah, we should definitely we should get into that one ourselves.
Yeah. Let's see here. Start. Yeah, and yeah. Are we working on stability improvements? Always. Yes. And I think a big part of that is if you get a crash, report it. And that's one thing that's tough is that if we don't hear about the crashes, we can't fix them, right?
Yeah, the forums is the best place to report that. The dev team has our bug tracking software integrated with the forums, so it's very easy for us to track things and resolve once you post information there. I'll post a link for Isaac.
All right, here we go. Here, so now it'll work since I'm going to open the not Linux only asset. Oh. All right. Not crashing. Love it. And let's add this floor in there. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, hello. That one, we should be able to just rotate it about the x-axis, and we should be good. Cool. Now let's make that floor visible again. Yeah, so you can have visible meshes and you can have collision meshes, and they can be separate things, right? So let's just go there and then hide the ground plane. Is that kind of floating? Ooh, that's kind of floaty, isn't it? Let's bring the gym floor up a bit more, I'd say.
You saved at this point, though, right?
No. You think I should save? No way. It's going to be fine. It just looks like it's floating in the air because I had the visual mesh in a weird place.
Okay.
That's the thing. I really don't get that many crashes unless I'm trying to do Linux only features on Windows. 1.8. Oh, that's 1.9. Oh, way too high. 8.1. I think the problem here is that, and I think I might need to go back and try to get a little bit better scan. I don't know. Let's see how it looks from the actual camera. This is the important thing. Kind of bumpy, huh? I might need to go back and do another scan. Oops. From the chase cam, it looks pretty good. Yeah, but now we're kind of like simulating in this gym now. Let's go ahead and try to see if we can fix these walls. Oh, this is a good idea. Flatten the ground in Blender. Yeah, that is a great idea. I have no idea how to do that. I've really not used Blender very much. But it seems like something that wouldn't be too hard, right? Just kind of get in there and sculpt it, flatten it out.
Or you could just take you could create a shell in Blender and see what happens if you throw the texture onto it. You know what I mean?
Just make a cube.
Yeah, make a
right
cube,
dimensions.
and then see what happens when you throw the texture on it.
Yeah, I like that idea.
It's a good call. Look what Captain just suggested.
That's a job for Ashley. Well, she's not here.
I know, it's like a special guest. And remember, what I'm doing here is right now I'm working on this, one asset. Oh dear, what's going on here? What have we got? All right, so now I'm trying to bring in the walls. And those are all wonky. So let's just start by getting them in the right orientation. Add a transform. Is that right? Yeah. Here we go.
Save.
I'll do a save as. File, save as. F1Tenth real environment. We'll just do Gray Studio so I can see default camera light. Here we go. Is that lining up? Let's see, that's looking okay. Boop. Now we got walls. They're a little better. Oh man. I gotta figure out, I wonder if there's some, I don't know, some better way to do this. Like yeah. Because my scan, I don't know if the scan's gonna cut it for looks. I mean, we'll see. I guess it might be fine just because I actually thought about just trying it by itself without even doing this environment. Because really the model, so we're using the ResNet 18 model, which is a object classification model. So it's really mostly keying off the cones. So I think if I smooth this out with a flat plane, it actually could work. That'd be interesting.
But are you going to be able to finish in 5 minutes?
Yeah, easy. I mean, not get the model trained, but all I gotta do is drag track in. Cones. Let's
And
turn
the track is bigger than
bigger than the gym.
yeah.
It is, isn't it? Not by much though. Oh, do I have track? Yeah. Oh, just a little bit bigger, isn't it? So that'll be my next task, is to make the track a little bit smaller. Boop. Right there. It's just really not that hard. Scale. Well, the problem with just scaling it down, so PapaCheck says scale it down. I guess we could do that for now. Make the track like... Actually, that's not half bad. Here we go. Now it fits. Probably make a different track though, because I don't have that many cones. And I'll have to go, if I go to the Isaac assets, I wonder if I search for cone. No. If I make the NVIDIA assets visible though, there's lots of nice cones. And I think I'll just try to find an orange cone that's more like this. But yeah, I mean, it's a little rough, and I'll be curious to see, honestly, if it'll train on this and run on this, then that's pretty cool. I think it shows how much that would show me that it's really recognizing the cones more than anything else. But make a physics. Oh yeah. So Papa, we're already doing that. So we're not using this. This is just a visual mesh. Yeah, this mesh is just way too bumpy. We're just using this as a visual mesh, and then we're using this a regular old ground plane for the actual contact. And then he's saying Resident 18 is trained already. It should run fine. Yeah, honestly, and like I said, Resident 18 is meant to recognize objects, and so it's looking for it's going to recognize the cones pretty strongly, pretty quickly. And so I think just by having kind of roughly the right colors in here, that might do it. I might insert... Gosh, it's giving me key commands to the... Okay. Sorry, it was putting all my key commands in here as I was flying around. Yeah, if I put a few lights up here, I think that'll help. Might light the scene a little bit. Yeah. Hey, and I guess to wrap up, I love this question. Watched the stream last time. I'm still not really understanding, but it looks cool. Could somebody give me a brief? I think if you come to GTC and attend our hands-on lab, we'll walk you through this hands-on. We'll sit you at a laptop. I've got a tutorial. We've got a tutorial you can follow. It'll take you through all of this and get you training your own vehicle and getting it driving on your own. So join us at GTC. I need to do that link one more time.
If you can't make it to GTC, you can also catch up on this series by just going to our YouTube channel and going to NVIDIA Omniverse YouTube channel, and then you could hit live. It'll show you all the live streams, and just look for EDIO, and you'll find this series. Well,
and not only that, but the tutorial and the materials of the lab will be released publicly in open source after GTC. So if you can't make it to GTC, we're still going to help you out. Don't you worry. We just want to see you.
Truth.
All right. So with that, we're one step closer to crossing that sim to real gap. I've got a basic real environment. I'll just need to open this up. I'll redo this in on my that grid scene where I'm actually that's connected to Ross and everything. And I'm just really curious. I'm just going to wire this up and then run the car without doing any retraining and see if it runs. If it runs, I don't know. That'd be awesome. But I think there's a good chance I'll need to retrain the model in this environment. And so hopefully next week, I've got a newly trained robot that runs in this reality capture. And that'll be really cool.
Congratulations on all
If
the
I'm live
progress.
streaming and you see me on a laptop in the church, that's because I got it working in real life, actually in the real gap. That would be really cool. But
I'm expecting that.
that's what we're hoping for. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Until next week, it's not going to be called EDIO anymore. But join us on. We'll still be here every Thursday morning. We'll just have a different name. So no worries. Until then.
See you, everybody.